Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. My name is Catherine Edwards. I'm the Information Officer, spokesperson, and press attaché at the U.S. Embassy in Port-au-Prince, Haiti. And I am very pleased to have so many representatives of Haitian media join us today for this discussion with Assistant Secretary Nunez-Neto from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. I will be asking him to speak to everyone. And if you have a question for him, please put it in the chat. We've received very many questions in advance, and I will be asking them to the Assistant Secretary. So I will turn over the role to you, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. Bonjour tous. Je suis désolé que je parle seulement un petit peu de français, donc je vais parler en anglais. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for being here today. I wanted to talk through the decisive actions that the Biden administration took this week that have been designed to strengthen the security of our borders and reduce unlawful migration by suspending the entry of individuals across our southern border. The measures, which we began implementing yesterday, build on the steps taken over the last 3 years to reduce migration and bolster our border security, which include record deployments of personnel, infrastructure, and technology to the border, the strengthened consequences that we implemented last May through the Circumvention of Lawful Pathways rule, as well as an historic expansion of lawful pathways, and in particular, lawful pathways for citizens of Haiti. The announcement this week includes a series of measures that will significantly increase the consequences for those who cross the southern border unlawfully or without authorization, including by restricting their eligibility for asylum and substantially increasing the screening threshold for those who are processed in our custody. Additionally, I want to make clear that the southern border includes not just our southwest land border, but also our coastal maritime borders, to include the borders around Florida, Puerto Rico, and the United States Virgin Islands. These measures, taken together, will allow us to remove individuals who do not establish a legal basis to remain much faster than we are currently able to. And these extraordinary steps will be in effect during times when encounter levels are so high that we simply do not have the resources we need to quickly impose consequences on those who have a legal basis to remain in the United States. Importantly, individuals will still be able to present at a port of entry through a safe and orderly process, such as by making an appointment with CBPOne, which has allowed more than 4 times more people to be processed each day at our land border ports of entry than we were ever been able to before. The announcements and the measures we've taken this week continue to demonstrate our commitment to securing the border and managing migration in a comprehensive and balanced way, one that includes tough consequences for unlawful entry that are paired with expanded access to lawful pathways. We have been delivering those consequences at the border. Throughout the last 3 years, a majority of all individuals encountered along our southwest border have been removed or returned or expelled. And over the past year, we have removed or returned more than 750,000 people. That's more than we've been able to do in any year since at least 2010. We've also delivered on the promise of lawful pathways for those who need them. We stood up safe mobility offices in countries throughout the region that have allowed more than 10,000 refugees to find a new home in the United States. Through the end of April, we have permitted nearly 435,000 nationals of Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela who have US-based supporters to enter the country in a safe and orderly way. And we have expanded family reunification parole programs for 7 new countries and expanded the existing programs for Cuba and Haiti as well. And these programs allowed the family members of US citizens or lawful permanent residents to be reunited with them in the United States much sooner than they would otherwise be able to do so. Despite these efforts, however, we have seen global migration, and including migration throughout our hemisphere, continue at unprecedented levels, including on our border. The presidential proclamation will temporarily suspend the entry of non-citizens across the southern border, and the Secretary of Homeland Security and our Attorney General have jointly issued a final rule that, consistent with the proclamation, generally restricts the eligibility of asylum at the border during periods of high encounters. The rule makes 3 key changes to processing under Title VIII immigration authorities during these periods of high encounters, changes that will allow us to very quickly remove the large majority of people that we are encountering at the border. In addition, it is important to note that unlike what happened when we had a public health emergency at the border, known as Title 42, the removals that we undertake pursuant to the proclamation and the associated rules carry with them strict consequences for individuals, including a 5-year bar to being eligible for any immigration benefit and the potential to be prosecuted criminally. The proclamation went into effect at midnight yesterday night, I should say midnight on Wednesday night, and will be in place until our 7 consecutive calendar day average of encounters along our southern border is less than 1,500 people a day. While the proclamation and rule are active, any individual who crosses our southwest land border with Mexico and our southern coastal borders, including Puerto Rico and the United States Virgin Islands, as well as the Florida coast, will be very quickly returned to their home countries and be ineligible for asylum. Taken together, these measures will significantly increase the speed and the scale of the consequences we can apply for individuals at the border. There are some key exceptions to what we are implementing, and perhaps the most important one to note is, as I noted earlier, that individuals who use a safe and orderly process approved by the Secretary of Homeland Security, which includes our CBPOne mobile application, to enter the United States at a land border port of entry in a safe and orderly manner will be accepted from the rule. And this rule does not apply either to individuals who are using our Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela parole processes to fly directly to the United States. For all these reasons, we continue to reiterate to any intending migrant who might be hearing this, and in particular to the people of Haiti, that we must use safe, orderly, and lawful processes to come to the United States, processes that we have expanded in record form over the last few years. And please do not put your lives in the hands of smugglers, take to the seas, or cross our southwest land border illegally, because you will be quickly returned back to your home country. And those removals carry with them consequences that will make you ineligible for these lawful pathways that we have made available specifically to nationals of Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela. The last thing I would note is that we spent many months working with our US Congress, hoping and working towards a permanent fix to our broken immigration and asylum system. And it is unfortunate that despite a bipartisan agreement in the Senate on tough but fair measures that would have provided a lasting solution to the challenge that we're facing at the border, we have been unable to get Congress to step up and do its job. These measures that we announced are executive actions, and they demonstrate our commitment to working within our executive authorities to find a solution to the challenges we are facing. But we are clear-eyed that any lasting solution requires Congress to step up and provide not just the authorities, but the resources that are needed to support the men and women of the Department of Homeland Security who are working on the front lines. And we continue to call on the US Congress to take up and pass the bipartisan reforms that we have put forward. Lastly, I just wanted to note that we continue to monitor closely the situation in Haiti and coordinate closely with the State Department and our international partners. We know that unlawful migration through the Caribbean and encounters of Haitian nationals at our southwest border remain low. We attribute this to the strong consequences we have already put in place at the border and the lawful pathways that are available to Haitian nationals that, again, we encourage them to use to come to the United States in a safe and orderly way. And that includes the Haiti parole process that begins with a US-based supporter. And it also includes the CBPOne mobile application that is available in Mexico to make appointments at our ports of entry. All unlawful migration journeys, especially those that include maritime components, are extremely dangerous, unforgiven, and often result in the loss of life. For these reasons, we continue to encourage Haitians to use the safe, orderly pathways that we have made available specifically for them. And we will note that we will continue to effectuate removals of Haitian nationals who receive final orders of removal in the United States or who are encountered on the seas back to Haiti. And we have, in fact, recently conducted multiple repatriation flights to Haiti. Again, individuals we remove are only removed if they are found not to have a legal basis to remain in the United States. And those individuals who are removed will no longer be eligible for the lawful pathways that we have, again, made available for Haitian nationals. So thank you very much for your time today. And I am happy to take any questions that you might have.
Thank you very much for that. For everyone who wants to submit a question today, please put it in the chat. We've already received many questions in advance, and I will start asking those of the Assistant Secretary. But if you have a follow-up question, please put it in the chat and we'll be able to have the responses to that. Thank you. So I'm going to start with a question that came in from Rezo No West, a media outlet in Haiti. How does the temporary closure of the southern border align with the United States' commitment to humanitarian principles, particularly in regard to Haitian asylum seekers facing dire circumstances in Haiti?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We take our humanitarian obligations and our international obligations very seriously. It is why over the last 3 years, we have significantly and dramatically expanded the number of lawful options for individuals who are seeking protection to come to the United States in a safe and orderly way that does not involve using human smuggling organizations and drug cartels to cross our southwest land border unlawfully. For Haitian nationals in particular, as I think everybody knows, we have implemented a Haitian humanitarian parole process that begins with a US-based supporter that has allowed a significant number of Haitian nationals, more than 100,000, to come to the United States in a safe and orderly manner. And we have also made available the CBPOne mobile application at the land border that every single day allows 1,450 people or more to cross into the United States through a port of entry in a safe and orderly way. What the president has done this week is made a determination that the number of individuals we are encountering between ports of entry represents an emergency circumstance. And during these emergency circumstances, extraordinary measures are needed in order to reduce the flow of people who are crossing our southwest land border unlawfully between ports of entry. But as I noted in my remarks, we continue to make available appointments at our ports of entry for individuals who wish to seek protection. And we continue to make lawful pathways available to people to come directly to the United States without having to cross our southwest land border.
Thank you for that. This question came in from national radio in Haiti. Are there conditions or mechanism for crossing the border, or is it closed to all undocumented refugees, whether those who are suffering from political or human rights abuses?
Sure. I think that's a variation of the question we just had. And again, we have robust mechanisms for people who are seeking protection to come to the United States. At our land border, the main such mechanism continues to be the CBPOne mobile application that allows almost 1,500 people a day to enter the United States lawfully in a safe and orderly manner through our ports of entry. And that is important because that number that we are allowing to cross the border through our ports of entry is more than 5 times the number that we were able to process through our land border ports of entry before the pandemic. So it is an unprecedented option that people have at the land border who wish to claim protection in order to do so in a way that, again, does not involve crossing our land border unlawfully and putting their lives in the hands of smugglers.
Thank you for that. We just got a question in the chat from RFM who states that, we know that many Haitians will be impacted by this decision, and they're asking your opinion or your message for what Haitians can do now for those who are considering making this journey.
So my message to any Haitian who's listening to this and wants to come to the United States is really the same consistent message we've had for more than a year now, which is we have made available robust mechanisms and pathways for Haitian nationals to come to the United States directly through our Haitian humanitarian parole process, which again begins with a US-based supporter. More than 191,000 Haitian nationals have been vetted and approved for travel, and more than 176,000 have arrived safely in the United States directly through an airport. We've also made available at the land border our CBPOne mobile application, which was introduced in January of 2023. And since that date, through the end of April of this year, more than 590,000 people have successfully scheduled appointments to present at ports of entry. And many of those, one of the top 3 nationalities that are using the CBPOne mobile application are nationals of Haiti. So, we have robust mechanisms for individuals, and particularly Haitian nationals, to come to the United States. And obviously, we believe quite strongly that Haitian nationals should not take to the seas and should not cross our land border unlawfully. We have been, as I noted, removing individuals who cross unlawfully to Haiti, and we will continue to do so.
Thank you for touching on the topic of how many Haitians have entered using the legal pathways available. We have received several questions on that. Another question in regards to statistics is how many Haitians have pending applications for the CHNV program? How many people are still waiting for their case to be reviewed?
Thanks for that question. Unfortunately, I don't have those numbers in front of me. I will say that the demand for these parole processes has been extraordinary. And one of the measures we took last year as a result of that really strong demand was to ensure that half of the appointments we issue each day or invitations we issue each day through the humanitarian parole processes are allocated randomly so that anybody who applied has an equal chance of receiving an appointment each day. And the other half, or roughly half, go to the people who've been waiting the longest. And so to those who've been waiting a long time, eventually your number will be called. And you also have the opportunity, obviously, through the random allocation of slots to be called quite soon if you're recently applied.
Another question regarding the statistics came in from Radio Metropole. Since the recent great wave of insecurity in Haiti, what is the U.S. acceptance rate for Haitian asylum applications?
That is a good question, and I don't unfortunately have the current approval rate for asylum applications in front of me. I will say that historically, our approval numbers for individuals who are claiming asylum at the end of the process is quite low. It's usually, across all nationalities, about 15 to 20%. Which is why we continue to insist that there are other lawful pathways that individuals should be looking at.
Thank you for that. And a question that just came in from Radio Guinea is, for those who are in the United States under the humanitarian parole program, will they be risking expulsion if the administration is to change?
So individuals who enter using our humanitarian parole processes are paroled into the United States for a period of 2 years. These are not permanent entries into the United States. And so individuals in those 2 years who wish to remain in the United States will need to find, a pathway that they can use to stay in the United States. And so that could include, for example, if someone marries a US citizen, they can adjust status through that relationship. And there's obviously a wide range of other options that are available to people. But if individuals at the end of those 2 years, will need to either return to Haiti, adjust their status, or, we will order them removed.
I appreciate you answering that question, because many of the outlets had a question about what will happen for parolees after 2 years. Now, another question that we have is that comes from Radio Kiskia, is in regards to the transparency of how the parole program works. You already explained how some are selected from the oldest applications and some are randomly selected from the newer ones. Are there any options for making that to provide more information to those who are waiting?
I am not sure what we mean by more information. Each day, as I said, about half of the appointment slots that we have are allocated randomly. And roughly the other half are going to the people who have been waiting the longest. We view that as a way to ensure that people who have been waiting the longest have a guarantee that they will, one day be able to come. But we also believe it's important to provide the opportunity for anybody who's waiting to know that their number could be called tomorrow as well. And that's why we designed it in that way.
Thank you. Another question from Rezona West is, what specific policies and resources is the Biden administration planning to allocate for Haitian nationals who are affected by the border closure?
So again, I'm not sure I fully grasp the question. Obviously, we have an obligation to secure our border, and we believe quite strongly that individuals should not be crossing our southwest land border in an unlawful manner between the ports of entry. We think it is the obligation of the people who want to come to the United States, in fact, to use safe, orderly, and lawful processes to come to the United States. And that's why we have been consistently, I think, urging individuals not to cross unlawfully and to take advantage of those lawful pathways. We have also taken quite seriously our commitment to provide access to lawful pathways. As I noted, we have allowed really record numbers of people, including nationals of Haiti, to come to the United States using these safe and orderly pathways over the last few years.
Thank you. Radio Galaxy asks, with the temporary measures to prevent people from receiving asylum in the United States, if a Haitian expresses a fear of returning to their country, will they also be deported?
So one of the changes that is in the rule that went into effect yesterday at midnight is that individuals who express a fear of persecution or return to their countries or to the country of removal. And remember, we are removing some Haitian nationals to Mexico as well as to Haiti. Those individuals will be screened for that fear pursuant to our international obligations. However, that screening will happen. That claim fear will be adjudicated at a higher standard, a new and higher standard than we have been using recently at the border. This standard will make it more difficult for individuals who express a fear to pass the initial screening and brings the standard that is being used during that screening closer to the ultimate final standard that is used at the end of the long immigration court process. And so, again, this is another reason why we are continuing to insist and encourage that migrants should use the lawful pathways we've made available and not cross unlawfully between ports of entry.
Thank you. Alter Press and Alter Radio asks, what is the reaction of the American administration to the requests from several organizations calling for the end of deportations during this crisis in Haiti?
That's an excellent question, and one that obviously is difficult. I will say that we rely on our embassy and the Department of State to make recommendations to the Department of Homeland Security concerning when conditions are such that we should not repatriate individuals. At this time, we are continuing to repatriate individuals to Haiti, both individuals who take to the seas and are encountered by our Coast Guard in international waters, as well as individuals who cross unlawfully along our southern border or who make landfall on our coastal borders. Again, the measures that were announced this week apply both along our southwest land border and along our maritime coastal borders, including Puerto Rico and the Virgin Islands. And, this is once again one of the reasons why we are continuing to insist and to encourage that Haitians who wish to come to the United States do so using one of the lawful processes and pathways that we have made available specifically for Haitians.
Thank you. We have another question regarding statistics that comes from Radio Tele Guinée. Among those who are eligible for what Haitians call the Biden program, the CHNV program, which country has the most amount of applicants and people who have gone to the States?
So if you look at the number of people who've arrived in the United States, Haiti is actually the country of the four that has the most individuals who have arrived. As I said earlier, it's over 176,000 so far. And I think that shows our commitment to allowing and providing Haitian nationals with safe and orderly pathways to come to the United States.
I know that we only have you for 30 minutes, but if you have one or two additional minutes, we have another question regarding TPS, temporary protective status for Haitians, and whether or not the United States will redesignate Haiti for temporary protective status.
Sure, I can stay for another couple minutes. I will say on temporary protected status, there is a process, a longstanding process that we follow to make those decisions that involves the Secretary of State making a recommendation to the Secretary of Homeland Security, and the Secretary of Homeland Security ultimately deciding whether to extend or redesignate a TPS designation. I don't have anything to announce today on that matter, but we are obviously monitoring the conditions in Haiti extraordinarily closely, and obviously working through the United Nations and with our Department of State, on security issues in Haiti. And obviously, when we have something to announce, we will let everybody know.
Thank you for that. Well, I have one additional question here. A question came in about a very specific case of a teenager who had their travel canceled under the CHNV program. But I think a better question for the general group is if a traveler has specific issues with their case, what should they be doing and who should they be contacting?
Sure, that's a great question. Our CHNV website that I'm hoping the embassy or our Office of Public Affairs can drop into the chat has detailed information about how to contact either U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services or U.S. Customs and Border Protection concerning the status of someone's application or any issues that might arise. Additionally, when we send the travel authorization emails, those emails include information about how to contact the U.S. government if there are concerns. I would note, however, that there is a number of reasons why individuals who have a travel authorization may have it canceled, and that obviously includes any derogatory or information that we receive, that could link someone to previous criminal activity or other reasons that we would not be able to allow someone to travel. And, historically, through the length of the process, I would say about 10% of the individuals who are approved end up not receiving a travel authorization because of something in the system that does not allow us to move forward.
Thank you for that. And thank you to Daniel, who put the location of the website in the chat. It's uscis.gov/CHNV for detailed information on the Cuban, Haitian, Nicaraguan, and Venezuelan humanitarian parole program. I think we'll have one more question, and then we'll thank you very much for joining us today to speak directly to Haitian press. This comes from Telemetropole. Between the humanitarian Biden program, as it's called in Haiti, the CHNV program, and CBP, which is the easiest for a Haitian immigrant to use?
They are obviously different programs that have different requirements. I would say, the Biden parole program, the CHNV, the humanitarian parole process, allows Haitians to fly directly to the United States and not have to travel through, Mexico or other countries, which can be, as I think everybody knows, quite dangerous and reduces exposure to criminal organizations and drug cartels that often prey on migrants, who are taking those migratory routes through northern Central America and Mexico. And so I would encourage Haitians to use the CHNV parole process as really the better of the two options.
Well, thank you so much for that information and for joining us here today to answer questions directly for Haitian press. If you had a question that wasn't answered, please send it over to the public affairs section. We'll put our email addresses in the chat. I will be sending the recording of today's press conference, the press roundtable, out to participants after the program. And we'd like to say thank you to you and thank you to our colleagues from the Miami Media Hub and Global Public Affairs for arranging today's meeting. And a special thank you to all the journalists who have joined us so that they can better inform the Haitian public on U.S. immigration policy.